You stand before the mirror, and what stares back isn't you. It's the ghost of potential, the reflection of the man you could have become, if only you acted. You tell yourself you're waiting for the right time. You call it patience. But deep down, you know it's fear wearing the mask of logic. The mirror never lies. It exposes your excuses. Every delay, every comfort, every soft promise to start tomorrow. It's a quiet surrender. The world doesn't pause for your hesitation. It rewards those who move, who strike, who take, not those who think about taking. Understand this: your feelings are irrelevant. You are not owed clarity. You are not owed motivation. You either move or you rot. The mirror is asking a simple question: are you a man of motion or a man of excuses? Because power doesn't chase the hesitant. It bends to those who act without permission. You must become a storm, cold, calculating, unstoppable. The first step to power begins here, forcing yourself into motion when your mind resists. Comment this phrase below: power obeys movement. Engrave it in your psyche. The transformation starts now. 1. The mirror and the lie. You stand before the mirror, and what stares back isn't you. It's the ghost of potential, the reflection of the man you could have become, if only you acted. You tell yourself you're waiting for the right time. You call it patience. But deep down, you know it's fear. Fear disguised as logic. Hesitation wearing confidence's skin. The mirror never lies. It exposes your excuses. Every delay, every comfort, every soft promise to start tomorrow is a quiet surrender. The world doesn't pause for your hesitation. It rewards those who move, who strike, who take, not those who think about taking. Understand this: your feelings are irrelevant. You are not owed clarity. You are not owed motivation. You either move or you decay. Power respects motion. Weakness worships thought. Motivation is the biggest lie ever sold to the lazy. It whispers, wait until you feel ready. But readiness is fiction. The strong don't wait for emotion. They create it. They act first and let the feeling follow later. You've been trained to crave inspiration like a drug. You scroll, you listen, you consume, but you don't move. Because motivation was never meant to make you act. It was built to keep you dependent. Discipline is the antidote. Cold, consistent, emotionless discipline. When emotion fails, structure commands. The lion doesn't wait to feel like hunting. He hunts because that's what he is. You must become the same, a force of precision, not a victim of emotion. Your mind must bend to you. Your thoughts are soldiers. Train them, or they'll revolt. You don't negotiate with weakness, you break it. Force yourself to move. Force yourself to decide. Action is the cure for hesitation. Discipline is the language of power. And the man who acts without permission becomes untouchable. So when you look into the mirror again, ask yourself, am I a man of motion or a man of excuses? The mirror doesn't care. The world doesn't care. Only your actions will. Comment this phrase below. Power obeys movement. Discipline devours emotion. Type it, say it, etch it into your mind. Because every action taken without motivation is one more nail in the coffin of weakness. And soon, nothing, no fear, no doubt, no pain, will move you but your own will. 2. The Machiavellian law of power. Power is not earned, it's taken. The world doesn't hand crowns to the kind, it surrenders them to the relentless. Machiavelli understood this. Morality bends to results. The man who acts decisively controls both perception and outcome. Most people wait for approval. They fear being disliked, misunderstood, or labeled ruthless. But the truth is simple. Those who hesitate become servants to those who don't. Power demands detachment. You must learn to play the game without emotion. Compassion is useful, but only when it serves your strategy. In the pursuit of dominance, never reveal your full intent. Let others underestimate you. It gives you freedom. Smile when they doubt you. Their weakness is your camouflage. Be polite, but never soft. Be kind, but never harmless. A dangerous man with control over himself commands both fear and respect. Manipulate your own mind first. That's where true Machiavellianism begins, not in deceiving others, but mastering the inner battlefield. When you can control your impulses, delay gratification, and mask your emotions, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is power. Stop announcing your goals. Stop seeking validation. Let your success become your revenge. Operate in silence. Strike with precision. And disappear before anyone can react. Power thrives in control, not chaos. Cold strategy over warm emotion. Calculated distance over desperate connection. Every move should serve your endgame. The Machiavellian law is simple. Win first, justify later. Because in this world, no one remembers the man who almost acted. They remember the one who conquered. Comment this phrase below. Control is power, power is peace, and never forget, the one who masters himself becomes a weapon the world cannot predict or defeat. 3. The discipline of cold focus. Focus is the assassin of weakness. It slices through distraction, emotion, and noise, leaving only purpose. Most men are slaves to stimulation. They scroll, they chase, they scatter their attention like confetti, and then wonder why nothing in their life moves forward. But understand this: what you focus on, you feed, and what you feed grows into your fate. The modern mind is addicted to chaos. It's easier to drown in endless input than to sit in silence and think. But silence is where strength is built. In stillness, your strategy sharpens, your goals crystallize. The world belongs to the man who can stare into nothingness and see structure, who can turn boredom into creation. Cold focus is a form of violence, directed entirely inward. It's the act of ignoring everything that doesn't move the mission forward. Your attention must become a blade, sharp, narrow, and merciless. Cut away distraction. Cut away people who drain your purpose. Cut away every indulgence that weakens your fire. When you work, disappear. When you speak, speak with weight. When you rest, do it with intention. Every moment must be accounted for, every action tied to an outcome. That's how you forge unshakable control. The undisciplined mind runs in circles. The disciplined one moves in straight lines toward power, wealth, mastery. And mastery demands obsession. Not emotional obsession, but mechanical precision, the repetition of improvement until it becomes instinct. Understand, emotion fades, but focus compounds. While others burn out chasing dopamine, you build empires from consistency. That's the difference between those who dream and those who dominate. Every time you feel lazy, remember, the weak seek comfort, the strong seek control. You don't need balance, you need alignment. Everything you do must orbit your mission like planets around the sun. Comment this phrase below. Focus is my weapon. Distraction is death. Engrave it into your identity. Because when your focus becomes absolute, you stop chasing and start attracting. And when you no longer need the world's attention, the world gives it to you. 4. The psychology of ruthless consistency. Consistency is the highest form of power. Not brilliance, not talent, not motivation, just the relentless repetition of discipline day after day when no one is watching. Most men crave intensity. They want to burn bright for a week, post about it, and call themselves reborn. But the powerful understand something deeper. Flames fade, routines conquer. Ruthless consistency is a form of self-domination. It's waking up when your mind screams to sleep. It's executing the plan when your emotions beg for comfort. It's building habits so strong that laziness becomes impossible. And once you master this, you become unstoppable. The world respects momentum. It bends to the man who keeps moving even when broken. Consistency rewires your brain. It kills hesitation. It kills doubt. It kills weakness. Every day you show up, even half strong, you train your subconscious to obey. And when obedience replaces emotion, you become your own weapon. Understand this: the weak man moves when he feels like it. The strong man moves regardless. That's why you can't rely on motivation. It's emotional sugar. What you need is control. Cold, structured, repeatable control. Ruthless consistency is not glamorous. It's mechanical, it's boring, it's quiet. But inside that monotony, your power compounds. Every rep, every page, every decision, a brick in the fortress of your dominance. While others wait for inspiration, you build a routine that prints results. That's how legacies are made, not from bursts of effort, but from disciplined repetition in silence. When you master consistency, you no longer need accountability. You become self-enforcing, a system, not a person. You don't chase discipline, you are discipline. Your identity fuses with your mission, and that's when life stops being chaotic. It becomes calculated. You don't need to sprint. You need to never stop walking, because time rewards endurance more than intensity. A man who moves one step every day will bury the one who runs for a week and quits for a month. So build a code and never break it. Train your body, mind, and habits until betrayal of self becomes impossible. You don't rise because you're gifted. You rise because you refuse to stop. Comment this phrase below: consistency is my kingdom. Say it aloud, write it, burn it into your identity. Because when your actions become automatic, when your will no longer negotiates with your weakness, you transcend. And from that moment, you are no longer chasing success. You are success. Unmoved, unbreakable, untouchable. 5. The art of controlled aggression. Aggression is energy in its rawest form. Uncontrolled, it destroys. Controlled, it builds empires. Every man has it, that fire that wants to conquer, to dominate, to prove. But society teaches you to suppress it, to stay soft, to apologize for your hunger. That's why most men walk through life muted, drained of the one thing that could make them unstoppable. Controlled aggression isn't chaos, it's precision under pressure. It's the art of turning rage into strategy. It's channeling the primal into something surgical. When anger becomes direction, it turns into power. When you can feel the storm and still move with logic, you become a weapon few can understand and none can match. Don't fear your darker instincts. Master them. A man who suppresses his aggression becomes weak. A man who channels it becomes untouchable. You must learn to weaponize your emotions, not worship them. Anger, jealousy, frustration, they're not curses. They're signals. Use them. Transform them into force, into fuel, into cold, deliberate motion. The world belongs to the man who can smile while planning his strike. That's controlled aggression, emotional precision. It's not shouting. It's not rage. It's silence with purpose. It's patience with teeth. When someone disrespects you, you don't react. You calculate. When you're doubted, you don't argue. You execute. When you fail, you don't cry. You rebuild in the dark until no one can stop you. That's how predators move. Not frantic, not loud, just focused, ruthless, efficient. You must learn to stand calm in the middle of chaos. Let others burn out chasing emotions. You'll rise by controlling yours. Your aggression must become cold fire, burning through obstacles without consuming you. Because when a man learns to aim his fury, he becomes destiny itself. Aggression without control is noise. Control without aggression is weakness. You need both, the fire and the frame. That's the essence of the Machiavellian mindset. Emotion as energy, logic as the leash. You use power without being consumed by it. Don't try to be nice, be necessary. Don't try to be loved, be respected. The world bows to the man who balances destruction with discipline. Channel your aggression into your purpose, into your training, your craft, your mission. Every drop of fury belongs to your empire, not to your enemies. Never waste it on noise. Comment this phrase below. My rage serves my reason. Because once your fire obeys your command, you ascend from emotional to elemental. You stop reacting to the world, you reshape it. And when your aggression becomes creation, you no longer chase control. You are control. 6. The Stoic Code of Emotional Control. The strongest man is not the one who feels nothing. He's the one who feels everything and still acts with precision. Emotion is energy, but when uncontrolled, it's chaos. A wildfire burning through your focus, your logic, your edge. The world worships feelings now. It rewards outrage and weakness. But you're not here to be liked. You're here to become unshakable. Emotional control is not suppression. It's command. It's the ability to feel rage, pain, fear, and still choose your response with surgical calm. That's what separates the master from the slave. The man ruled by his emotions is predictable, exploitable, breakable. The man who commands them is a fortress. A Stoic doesn't chase happiness. He chases clarity. He doesn't beg the world to be fair. He adapts. He doesn't complain about chaos. He thrives in it. When pain comes, he absorbs it. When fear whispers, he studies it. He doesn't react. He recalibrates. Understand this. Your emotions are tools, not tyrants. Anger can sharpen you. Sadness can teach you. Fear can alert you, but only if you lead them. If you let them lead you, they'll destroy you. The Stoic doesn't avoid discomfort. He invites it. Because every emotional trial is an opportunity to reinforce dominance over self. When the average man panics, the Stoic breathes. When others overthink, he observes. When they seek comfort, he builds endurance. That's the essence of cold psychology. Control your reactions, and you control the game. People can't manipulate what they can't predict. Your silence becomes intimidation. Your calm becomes power, and your lack of visible weakness drives them insane. Never let your emotions dictate your tempo. The moment you react, you hand over control. Let others explode, cry, rage, and expose themselves. You stay still. Stillness is not weakness, it's strategy. In stillness, your enemies reveal themselves. In silence, you become terrifying. Pain will come, loss will come, betrayal will come, but you must respond like stone under fire, unyielding, reshaping, reforging, never breaking. Because every storm you endure with composure becomes another layer of armor. And one day, nothing will reach you. This is the code of emotional dominance. Never speak from anger, never decide from fear, never react to provocation. Never let praise corrupt your clarity. You move like a strategist, not a victim. You calculate, not complain. You endure, not escape. And when the world looks for emotion, you give it results instead. Becoming Stoic is not about killing your heart. It's about training it. You can love deeply and still stay cold. You can care without attachment. That's the paradox of power. Emotional detachment amplifies influence. So, when the next trial comes, and it will, smile. Let chaos scream. Let weakness beg. You stay silent. You stay surgical. You stay sovereign. Comment this phrase below. Calm is my armor. Silence is my weapon. Because when you stop reacting, you start ruling. When your emotions obey you, life bends to your command. You are no longer tossed by the winds of chaos. You are the storm itself, unmoved, focused, in control. And that is how a man becomes untouchable. 7. The power of strategic detachment. Attachment is the enemy of power. The more you cling, the weaker you become. People, possessions, emotions, validation, each one a chain, disguised as comfort. The Machiavellian mind understands this. Control requires distance. To master the game, you cannot be consumed by it. Most men build their identity around what they own, who they love, or how others see them. That's why they break so easily, because everything they depend on is outside themselves. Strategic detachment is not coldness for the sake of cruelty. It's separation for the sake of strength. It's the art of staying involved, but never enslaved. You can play every role, leader, lover, warrior, but never lose yourself within them. When you detach, you see clearly. Emotion clouds judgment. Attachment distorts perspective. The detached mind analyzes, not reacts. It calculates outcomes, while others drown in impulse. And in that space between reaction and response, power is born. Understand this. Detachment is not about caring less. It's about caring correctly. You focus on what you can control, your thoughts, your actions, your strategy, and let everything else fade into irrelevance. That's freedom. The world cannot manipulate a man who is emotionally independent. Love deeply, but never depend. Give loyalty, but never blind trust. Build wealth, but never worship it. Enjoy praise, but never need it. Every attachment you sever adds weight to your spine. You become lighter, faster, deadlier. The Machiavellian sees people as chess pieces, not with hatred, but with awareness. He studies motives, patterns, weaknesses. He knows everyone plays for themselves, no matter how noble their words sound. So, he aligns with others strategically, not sentimentally. Allies today can become rivals tomorrow. That's not betrayal. That's nature. Detachment lets you adapt without emotion. When something ends, you don't collapse. You shift. When someone leaves, you don't chase. You replace. When plans fail, you don't complain. You rebuild. This is the way of the cold strategist. Permanent flexibility through emotional sovereignty. Powerful men understand impermanence. They know everything is temporary: success, love, loyalty, life. So they act accordingly. They prepare for loss before it arrives. They rehearse detachment every day until nothing can surprise them. This is how you remain dangerous in a changing world. And when you can lose without breaking, you become untouchable. That's why most can't handle this path. It demands the death of comfort and the rebirth of command. It's not natural to detach. It's forged through discipline, repetition, and self-awareness. You train it like a muscle until your peace no longer depends on anything external. Detach from opinions, detach from outcomes, detach from approval. Once you stop needing, you start ruling. The man who needs nothing can control everything. That's the paradox of the powerful. His restraint terrifies those addicted to reaction. So, when someone tries to provoke you, you don't respond. You observe. When the world tests you, you don't panic. You adapt. And when life tries to shake you, you stand unmoved, because your center is internal. Strategic detachment doesn't mean isolation. It means mastery. You still love, work, fight, and build, but all from a place of choice, not compulsion. You become the calm eye within every storm, the calculating mind behind every move. Comment this phrase below. Nothing owns me, I own myself. Type it, repeat it, embody it. Because once you detach, you stop living reactively. You stop being controlled by circumstances. You become the architect of your reality, not the victim of it. The Machiavellian man walks through chaos untouched. His silence commands respect. His calm radiates dominance. And his detachment, that silent refusal to be moved, becomes the sharpest weapon of all. You are no longer a player in the game. You are the board itself. 8. The architecture of power and perception. Power is not just taken, it's constructed. Brick by brick, layer by layer. Every move, every silence, every glance becomes part of your fortress. The world doesn't respond to who you truly are. It responds to what you project. Perception, not truth, governs influence. That's the architecture of power. Build the image, control the narrative, dominate the field. Machiavelli taught that men judge with their eyes more than with their minds. They believe what they see, not what is. So stop telling people who you are. Show them what you want them to believe. In a world driven by illusions, perception is reality. Your appearance, your tone, your energy, they broadcast authority before a word leaves your mouth. You must sculpt your image with precision. Be composed, not expressive. Be intentional, not impulsive. Every gesture must imply confidence, not demand it. People follow strength they can sense more than words they can hear. That's why power begins in stillness. When you speak less, your words gain gravity. When you reveal less, your mystery multiplies. The powerful man doesn't chase attention, he attracts it, because energy flows toward control. Your presence should make people adjust their tone, their posture, their behavior. That's influence without a word. To build that level of perception, you must understand optics. Every environment is a stage. Every interaction, a performance. Your reputation is your shadow. It arrives before you do. So guard it like gold. Never argue to prove your worth. Never explain more than necessary. Let silence be your verdict. The man who feels no need to explain himself is feared far more than the one who justifies. Control perception through contrast. Let your calm exist where others lose composure. Let your logic cut through their noise. Let your poise make them question their own. The moment you master contrast, you control the emotional tempo of any room. Understand, perception is power because people crave belief. They want someone to embody the certainty they lack. Be that figure, unshaken, precise, deliberate. Let them project their fantasies of strength onto you. Then use those perceptions as leverage. Machiavelli called it the illusion of virtue. You appear noble while thinking strategically. You appear generous while advancing your interests. You appear calm while planning your conquest. The world rewards the illusion, not the intention. Perception gives access. Access gives information. Information gives control. That is the architecture of dominance, psychological before physical. Before armies move, minds must bend. The weak think power comes from force, but true power comes from influence. You can't outfight everyone, but you can outthink everyone. You can't always command, but you can always persuade. And persuasion begins when perception bends in your favor. Craft your presence as if it were armor. Every word intentional, every silence measured, every move calculated. Never act without purpose. Never reveal without reason. A moment of emotional leakage can destroy months of strategic construction. When people can't predict you, they can't control you. And when they can't control you, they fear you. That fear, disguised as respect, is the currency of the powerful. But remember this, your image must be supported by substance. If you project strength without discipline, the illusion collapses. If you speak with authority but lack mastery, you expose yourself. So build inward and outward simultaneously. Power perceived must be power possessed. Discipline forms the foundation. Perception builds the palace. Without the first, the second crumbles. Without the second, the first remains unseen. Together, they create an aura, the unseen armor that bends reality around you. Comment this phrase below. My presence is power. My silence is control. Because every word unspoken increases your gravity. Every reaction restrained expands your dominance. And every illusion mastered strengthens your throne. Remember this, people don't follow truth. They follow certainty. The man who appears unbreakable becomes the standard. Not because he is flawless, but because he looks untouchable. So design your image as a weapon. Let your presence do what your words cannot. Let your calm unsettle. Let your confidence command. And when the world looks into your eyes, let them see something they can't define, but can't ignore. That is power by design. That is the architecture of dominance. And that is how legends are built. 9. the laws of mental warfare. The greatest wars are never fought on battlefields, they're fought in the mind. Every conversation, every decision, every silence is psychological combat, and most men lose without even realizing they were at war. Mental warfare isn't about aggression, it's about control. Control of perception, of energy, of tempo. If you dominate the mental terrain, you've already won before anyone else moves. The first law of mental warfare is composure. He who stays calm controls the frame. People reveal themselves through emotion, their insecurities, their desires, their fears. You, on the other hand, reveal nothing. Your calm becomes unsettling. It forces others to question their position, their power, even their reality. Every outburst they make while you remain composed is a small victory for you. Remember, in chaos, the quiet man becomes the authority. The second law is framing. He who defines the situation defines the outcome. Never let others dictate the meaning of a moment. When they criticize you, redefine the criticism as proof of envy. When they question you, interpret it as curiosity. When they doubt you, treat it as a challenge. Control the narrative, and you control the battlefield. The third law is psychological distance. Never mirror their emotions, manipulate them. When they get angry, stay calm. When they go silent, become uncomfortably confident. The goal is to destabilize their expectations. Predictable people are easy to play. Unpredictable ones are terrifying. Become unreadable. Let them spend their energy trying to understand you while you conserve yours. The fourth law is tactical empathy. Understand how others think, not to comfort them, but to control them. You must see the world through their lens to predict their moves. Ask questions, listen intently. Most people are too eager to talk. They expose themselves. Every word they spill gives you data, emotional coordinates to strike later. Empathy is not softness, it's reconnaissance. The fifth law is illusion of weakness. Never reveal your full capacity. Let others underestimate you. It relaxes their defenses. Play small when you must, then strike when they least expect it. The element of surprise breaks even the strongest opponents. Machiavelli wrote, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." So, let them be the fool. Emotional, impatient, reactive. You strike at the moment that ends the game. The sixth law is selective confrontation. Not every battle deserves your sword. Some conflicts are bait designed to drain your focus. Ignore what doesn't advance your position. Pick fights that build leverage, not drama, because true warriors win through precision, not exhaustion. Your silence must hit harder than their noise. The seventh law is psychological endurance. Mental warfare is a test of patience. You'll be misunderstood, attacked, and provoked. But power grows from sustained composure under fire. Every insult you endure without reaction adds a layer of armor. Every delayed response amplifies your authority. People break when they can't break you. That's when fear replaces resistance. The eighth law is perceived indifference. Want nothing openly, need nothing visibly. The man who appears detached holds all the cards. When others chase approval, your silence becomes a weapon. When they crave validation, your indifference becomes dominance. People are slaves to those who seem free from desire. The ninth law is strategic ambiguity. Never let others fully define you. Be kind, but unreadable. Friendly, but dangerous. Calm, but unpredictable. Mystery forces respect, because when people can't categorize you, they can't control you. You become myth instead of man, and myths cannot be challenged directly. The 10th law, the crown of all mental warfare, is inner silence. When your mind is still, nothing external can shake you. You analyze, you anticipate, you adapt, all in silence. While others speak to be understood, you observe to understand. And in that quiet observation, you gain the one advantage emotion can never reach: foresight. Foresight turns reaction into orchestration. That's the difference between the hunted and the hunter. Understand this: mental warfare is not about crushing others, it's about mastering yourself. Because when you control your emotions, reactions, and energy, you control every room you enter. The game is rigged in favor of the man who plays it consciously. Comment this phrase below: I control the battlefield of the mind. Because every time you hold your frame while others lose theirs, you expand your dominance. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you strengthen your aura. And every time you think 3 moves ahead, you prove that intellect is the purest form of violence. Mental warfare rewards patience. It rewards those who build quietly, strike precisely, and never explain. The greatest victories are invisible, won before the enemy even knew there was a war. And when you master these laws, you don't just survive the game, you become the game. 10. Becoming untouchable, the final ascension. Untouchable. That word is the summit of every man who seeks true dominance, not over others, but over himself. It's not about invincibility, it's about immunity to chaos, to manipulation, to weakness. To become untouchable is to walk through fire without being burned, to be surrounded by noise and remain unmoved. It's the final evolution of control, the state where nothing external has the power to define your internal world. The path to becoming untouchable begins with brutal self-awareness. You must strip away illusion. See yourself not as you wish to be, but as you are, naked, flawed, unfinished. Most men fear that mirror. They hide behind ego, behind distraction, behind excuses, but power is born in confrontation. Not with enemies, but with truth. You can't conquer what you refuse to confront. Once you face yourself, you gain leverage over your mind. That's step 1, control perception. Step 2, control emotion. Step 3, control action. When those 3 align, you move with divine precision. No panic, no hesitation, just pure, cold execution. Becoming untouchable doesn't mean becoming emotionless. It means mastering emotion so completely that it bends to your will. Anger becomes fuel. Fear becomes alertness. Pain becomes data. Every setback becomes training. The Stoic doesn't avoid suffering, he weaponizes it. Because pain refines a man faster than pleasure ever could. The untouchable man expects nothing from others. He doesn't beg for validation, understanding, or loyalty. He gives what he chooses and withdraws without hesitation. His peace is not borrowed, it's built. He owes no explanations, seeks no applause, fears no loss. That's true freedom, the independence of mind that makes you immune to manipulation. People can't control a man who doesn't need them. That's why detachment is terrifying. It removes leverage. When they can't bribe you with comfort or threaten you with loss, you become unpredictable. Unpredictability is power. When no one knows what moves you, no one can move you. The untouchable man is strategic in silence and violent in execution. He doesn't warn, he doesn't explain, he acts and the world adapts. His victories are quiet, his losses invisible. He moves through life like smoke, shapeless, formless, impossible to grasp. That's not arrogance, it's control. Power at this level is not loud, it's subtle, surgical. It exists in restraint, in what you don't do, don't say, don't reveal. Because every reaction you deny is energy saved, power retained. The untouchable man doesn't seek attention. He commands it by existing in control. People feel his presence before he speaks. They sense he's different, not because he says so, but because he doesn't need to. To reach this stage, you must embrace solitude. Isolation is not punishment, it's purification. In solitude, the noise fades and only truth remains. You learn to operate without praise, without guidance, without company. And when you emerge from that silence, your mind becomes a fortress no one can invade. Every untouchable man lives by a code, a personal constitution forged from discipline, focus, and self-respect. This code becomes his spine. He follows it without compromise, even when it hurts. Especially when it hurts. Because pain is proof of growth, and discipline is proof of dominance. The weak are enslaved by impulse. The strong are guided by principle. The untouchable obeys neither impulse nor pleasure, only purpose. And that's why he wins, because his actions are never random. They're inevitable. He speaks little, listens much, and calculates constantly. Every move is intentional, every silence loaded, every expression measured. His calm disarms, his unpredictability unsettles, and his precision, his ruthless precision, ends battles before they begin. Becoming untouchable means you are no longer at war with the world. You've mastered the only battlefield that matters, your mind. External chaos becomes irrelevant because internal order reigns supreme. And from that stillness, you command your reality. This is not arrogance, it's evolution. To rise above reaction is to rise above control. To detach from emotion is to detach from manipulation. To master the self is to master the system. Understand this truth. When nothing can offend you, tempt you, or shake you, you become the most dangerous being alive. Because they can't reach you through guilt, fear, or praise. They can't influence what they can't affect. You move like fate, inevitable, indifferent, final. Comment this phrase below. Nothing touches me. I am the storm. Type it, say it, claim it. Let it be your mantra, because from this moment forward, you are no longer seeking validation. You are enforcing destiny. And when you've mastered the mirror, the mind, the motion, you ascend, untouchable, unbreakable, unmovable. This is your final form. The world doesn't have to understand it. It only has to feel it, and it will. Now, like this video, subscribe to Mental Fort, turn on notifications, because this is only the beginning. The next evolution begins with you.